understand where you're coming from, because you're at a strong place. You're at a forum where you can actually represent yourself. Imagine people who don't have that strength. I have met with so many people. So this is my first term. My name is Senator Samina Mumtaz Zahri. I'm from Balochistan, Balochistan Awami Party. I was born and raised in Sindh to a Sindhi family and then married into Balochistan. I first 3 years I was in the Interior Committee, and it was one of my favorite topics from my childhood. I'm also have a law background, and so I always stood up for wherever I could possibly for the women, and then I got an opportunity. So the rape cells, and I stood up. I got one of the ministers in Balochistan arrested because the private prisons. I brought in a law against that as well. I did quite a bit, as much as I could, and I can till today. Implementation is an issue in our country. We have lots and lots of legislation, and being a legislator, I can tell you that every second, third day, I'm one of those who stands up and screams as much as I possibly can. So now coming back to being a chairperson of the Human Rights of the Senate Functional Committee, it was quite frustrating for me. It's been my first 4 or 5 months, and I had a go between all the commissions and the Women Commission, the Child Commissions, and everybody. So I'm sorry, Madam Rifat, it was very nice listening to every single thing that you said. You're right about the data collection. We have a huge gap. Number one is 18th Amendment, the gap between. So the Ministry of Human Rights came up to me and said, "Oh, you're the right person who can actually bring the gap. You can connect the gap that we have between the provinces." I was like, they're not answering to you. They kept on telling me that nobody responds to us regarding the domestic violence cases, the child abuse cases, the rape cases. They don't have data. The data that they actually bring forward to my committee, it's a waste of my time. I have shunned them off. They try to paint a pretty picture. So I addressed different provinces, because obviously there's prosecution, then there was the police department, then there was the legislation, and then everybody together. I brought them to, and the commissions, the NGOs, the private entities, and I said, "Come on, give me what's the problem." So the funny thing that came up to me was one of the AIGs came and gave me a presentation, the women police. And they said, "I'm just sharing with you, I'm not going into the technical grounds, I'm just giving you like a background where our problems lie." So the AIG came up to me and she gave me a presentation which said, "The successful stories of the police department." So as soon as she started, I said, "Please, you need to delete this part. I don't think there's any success where you're doing any work." So she said that we have a line where domestic violence is addressed. I said, "Do you?" She said, "Yeah." So I said, "You call 15?" She said, "No, there's another number." I said, "Okay, where have you brought this awareness?" When I, being the chairperson of Human Rights, being an educated female who's sitting here at this forum, does not know what your number is that I need to call if I'm being abused by my husband or my relative, how do I contact you? So they said, "Oh, you need to call this number." I said, "Okay, have you addressed it? Have you published it? Have you told people? Have you told the local public? How are they supposed to know?" They said, "Oh, we're working on that." I said, "When? When the world ends?" So now what happens is, domestic violence, they said, "Oh, you can call the police, we're on for." So I told them, your problem is the police reforms. When I, as a woman, cannot address you as a policewoman, and I can't come up to you, I don't have a comfort zone with you, I can't speak to you about my problems because you're so harsh. First thing you say is, "तुमने ही कुछ किया होगा, तुम्हारी शक्ल से लगता है तुम 2 नंबर हो." Like accusations on the woman by a woman. I said, what's a softening part? How are you talking? You're talking to me right now politely because I'm a person of a higher level than you are. So a few days later, one of my domestic staff had a problem. A Christian woman who, obviously under Christianity, I'm sure all of us know that you can't divorce there's no divorce, right? So she was having issues at home. I addressed her. This is just one example of the many that I have faced in my experiences. So I said, I called that, surprisingly she came to my mind, so I called her. I said, "Madam, this is a problem." You said, मैंने कहा, "I sent the woman to your police station in Karachi, Azam Basti or someplace, and I said, your SHO said कि जाओ ये कोर्ट में जाओ, ये हमारा मसला नहीं है, घर का प्रॉब्लम है." मैं कहा, ये क्या बात हुई? So she went back and she told the police SHO and said, "Okay, address this issue." The IO asked for her for 35,000, her husband for 35,000 to negotiate between the two. I found out. I called her again. She said, "Madam, मैं देखती हूँ. I'll look into it." She went back and she spoke to the IO and said, "Get this sorted out." In the end, we came to a conclusion where the husband left her around, where he was not only he had divorced her, but also gone and married another married woman who was also picking up her children, who was abusing every single thing. Problem with our country is, I'm sorry, I'm saying this on live television, maybe I don't know where I am speaking, and I don't really care because this is a problem that we are all facing. Issue is that women in our country are facing so many issues at different levels, be it a daughter of a rich man, a poor man, anybody. Because when it comes down to anybody's respect, the taboo is बर्दाश्त करो, मार खा लो, शादी की है, मर के निकलो. हालांकि the religion says don't compromise, do not stand it if you do not want to last in this relationship. Walk away when it gets tough. For whatever reasons, that is what the problem is. Our judiciary, I'm sorry, with all due apologies, not addressing to you, but we do not care about public importance cases. We do not care about these issues. We are more interested in political cases, even the lawyers. That's where the money lies. Number one. Number two, public police reforms is the most important thing. Third, prosecution. When I speak to the judges one-on-one and I say, why are you not addressing this issue? They say, we take up an issue. The prosecution turns around and says, sir, ये तो आईओ ने केस कमज़ोर कर दिया है. इसमें हम क्या कर सकते हैं? That is where we need to work on. This is the problem where it lies. Then, if you want to come to the root cause of Pakistan's issues, where domestic violence is concerned, yesterday we visited a UN Women, event where it was 16 days workshop. I was very happy to find out that they're actually bringing awareness through a theatre and telling the children about how it is. But they're telling adult children. They need to put this into the women, the mothers, and then the children at a young age, so that when they grow up, they know what their rights are. These children already know, because they've seen their mothers getting beaten up, they've seen the brothers getting abused. It's not only the women that suffer, it's also the boys that suffer. Technically, when the mother's being beaten up, the closest thing that a mother is to anybody is a boy child. The girls are close to the fathers, but when they see both the children, the boy and the girl, are seeing that the mother is being abused by the father, the girl understands it's okay to get beaten up because my mother's taking it. The boy understands it's okay to hit a woman. It's okay to hit my sister. What the mother needs is what I teach. I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a girl. Every single day, the one principle that I do in my house is I tell my sons, you raise your hand on a girl, that's the end of your life. And I'm very strict about it. The girl, I say, don't stand up to violence. And that's what they do. And that's how it is. This is what we need to implement in our society. We need to get out of that shell that we're living in, and we need to teach our scholars, the religious scholars, like Madam said, that it's stressful for people like us. Each one of us, this research shows that the home is the most insecure place for a woman to be in. It's safer to be outside your house because you become attacked in your own place by your husband, by your father, by your brothers, by your siblings. Abhi tak kitne cases hain? What conclusions have been drawn? I'm not going to quote one very famous case in Islamabad. I discussed it. The girl was raped, beaten up, her head was cut off. Now we know who it is. In the end of the day, what happened? My colleagues turned around and one day we were discussing, and I said, we haven't been able to do anything. We haven't stood up for the girl. The parents are crying. One of my colleagues, a very senior colleague, I was ashamed that day. I actually was sad to hear. She said she was a gold digger. She was a gold digger. That's the reason why she died the way she did. I'm sorry. That is no excuse for a girl to be treated that way. If she wanted to make a change, if she fell in love, I think it's Disney World that we need to sue. I'm sorry. Okay? For bringing in the notions of love and all that stuff. That's where we go wrong. But this is the problem. Our society is the issue. So many things that we need to address first. These campaigns, these gatherings, this forum that we're working on, these commissions that we based. So I'll tell you what you said, that you said the data. where I did a research. I called in all the people. I said, give me the details of how your system has been working. The Women's Commission. For the last 12 years, there have been people sitting on deputation, people who don't deserve to be there, who have no idea what they're doing. They came up to me and they gave me, excuse my language, BS data, which was not factual. The Supreme Court had, like you said, you got the data from the judiciary, and they had more cases narrated than the commission did. There's a huge gap between all these people. We need to collectively work if we need to make a change. That's the only way we can work through it. So, I just ended all of this because I can't do anything. I can't do anything as a chair of a human rights committee, and I want to do so much. But the frustrating part is when I call you, I call XYZ, and I gather you around. You just want to paint a pretty picture and you want to go far away from reality. Let's address it. This is about our children. This is about our future. This is how it works. It's not going to, it's not going to work out this way. So my request to each one of us is that, yes, whatever is happening around the world, that's no excuse that we should be treated like this, because Islam, our country, gives us more rights as a woman than any other religion does. We have more freedom. So what we need to do is we need to go back to the madrasas and find out exactly what their education is, the head of the madrasas, and find out what their qualification is to be heading those madrasas, if they're actually legit or not. We're all over Pakistan, number one. Number two, speak to the these jurists and find out exactly what the thought process is. Work together aligned and find out what are they thinking, where are we going wrong. Then also get together with the judiciary, the prosecution, and find out exactly what their problems are, and collectively address. People like you are sitting here and getting upset, finding out how many cases have I seen in the recent past where women have compromised the situation because there was no way out. There were murders in Punjab where a girl was hung on top on her fan. If you sit, I'm not going to go into the evidence factor, but there was a bed, there was a stool on top of a bed. Foam के ऊपर bed रख के आप stool रख के आप देखें कि it's not possible. Then the person's neck, a blind man can tell you it was an act put together. But what happened? Because the man who had power, he had money, he won. Why can't we take it up pro bono? Why can't the judge see it? Why do they have to rely on prosecution? Why can't they say no? This is pure murder. That is where the problem is. They're not interested. You need to be interested. This can be your own daughter. This can be your child tomorrow suffering. That's a problem. I think our emotions have died. They're just dead. They don't just care. It's just about doing a duty. You just need to tick a thing. Okay, it's done. We need to go past that now. So, sorry guys, I think I got a bit too emotional. But yeah, that's the reality. That's a reality of it. It's been 5 months since I've been the chair, and I have been so irritated and fighting, and I give it to whoever I possibly can, because I need facts. I want to know, and I want to actually do something. But if this is the way we're going to go, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to keep on doing these forums, and we're going to get together, chit chat, have a nice cup of tea, and do 16 days of activism. Reality is far from it. People dying every single day. And if you see the kind of faces that those women go through, what they deal with, and I'm sure people on ground, I've seen women cry, I've seen girls cry, I've seen this child. I have had to go on international forums to be able to answer on behalf of my country, what are you doing? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say to them? Oh, we are doing something. We're still doing something. I think it's not that difficult if we actually get on the ground and get it done. And interesting thing is कि जब जलसा निकलता है मुल्क के अंदर, धरने के अंदर पूरे रोड्स ब्लॉक हो जाते हैं, हर कोई एक्टिवेट हो जाता है, हर कोई कहता है जी why did you do this? This is their right. Constitutional right is that they have the freedom to speak. Everyone all over the world screams out. The news flash that first comes out and says so and so got raped, so and so got beaten up, so and so daughter got dead. death sentence. Everybody has a judgment call to say, oh, she was digging into money, oh, she was desperate, oh, she was looking for love, oh, they had this problem, she deserved it. Really? But the person who breaks the law, crosses the line, goes into the boundaries where you're not supposed to go, nobody breaks the line there. Then you have human rights, then you have the UN stands up, the international lobbies starts talking. What about these places? Nobody says a word except for organizations where we sit together like this and we speak out. Okay, oh yeah, we're doing this stuff. So sorry guys.
Sadia, only one thing which she